Greetings. Hi, my name is Mark, and I work in ASU Counseling Services. And I had the pleasure of doing a presentation a couple weeks ago on campus called the Three Approaches to Tackle Anxiety. And I thought I would go ahead and record it because I thought it went relatively well. And we, as the College Counseling Center, know that anxiety is always a number one issue of college students. In fact, anxiety has been the number one issue of college counseling for over a decade. 83% of ASU students seeking counseling also cite anxiety as one of the top reasons for coming to counseling. So let's jump right in and let's talk about the three main approaches to working with anxiety. So first thing that we have to do is we also have to acknowledge that anxiety is part of life. So we all have some level of anxiety. It could be great and severe and having many panic attacks, or it could be kind of mild where we can navigate through it. And sometimes it can actually help motivate us to stay sharp and stay focused. So the three main approaches are deal with it, problem solve through it, and eradicate it. So we're going to take each one at a time. And so deal with it again. So we all have anxiety. How do we deal with it? So I'm going to lead you through several relaxation techniques. Now, I'm not the biggest mindfulness guru in the world, but I'm going to do my best to use my calming, soothing counselor voice to lead you through some simple exercises that you could use at any time you're facing anxiety. Okay? So the first one is deep breathing. This is one that we all know about. We all can do it, but we often don't take the time to be intentional about doing it. So I'm gonna do a couple deep breathing exercises with you. So first one is really simple. We just take a huge deep breath in and we count to 4, and then we let it go and we count from 4 to 1. All right, so get comfortable. If you're sitting down, try to find the most comfortable spot you can. Usually we tell you to put your feet on the ground and sit up straight, but just find your comfort space. So we'll do a deep breath in. All right, breathe in, hold it 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go, 4, 3, 2. All right, let's do another one just for practice. Let's breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now we're going to expand upon that. Actually, each level of these breathing exercises expands on the next. So we're going to do the same thing, the 1 through 4, and the 4, 3, 2, 1. But what I want you to do is I want you to sort of visualize what's going on in your whole breathing and respiratory apparatus. So maybe that looks like I'm going to envision the air as it goes into my mouth, down my tubes, and into my lungs. And maybe it'll sit there for that second we're holding. And then as you breathe out, um, same thing. Feel and see that air leaving you. All right, so we're going to do, it's called focus breathing. So let's take a huge deep breath in, concentrate on it, what it looks like, what's going on in your body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let go, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, really visualize what's going on. Maybe you sense that your chest is puffing up and filling up with the air and holding it and then letting it go. All right, so breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go, 4, 3, 2. One more time. Again, focus on the breathing mechanism. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let it go, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so the next one is called progressive muscle relaxation. And so one of the best ways to do this, if you can, you might want to lie down on a couch or a bed if you have one next to you, or you can just simply do it in your chair. So progressive muscle relaxation is a mind-body exercise that helps you relieve some of that stress that you carry in your body. Most of us do carry stress in our body, especially when it's not dealt with in a productive manner. So, all right, wherever you're laying or sitting, I want you to, again, get comfortable. And we're going to start with your toes. I want you to focus on your toes, and I want you to scrunch them tightly. I want you to hold them. I want you to notice what's going on in your toes. There's tension building. And then in a couple seconds here, we're going to let go. All right, so release your toes. All right, now we're going to move up to our feet and we're going to scrunch our feet as tight as you can. Even if you have shoes on, scrunch them tight and notice that tension that it creates in the body. And again, we're going to let go now. All right, let's go to our ankles and kind of twist them in a weird way. I know it's kind of weird, especially if you're sitting down, but twist your ankles and hold them tight. Picture some of that stress in your body. It's being held in those ankles. And we're going to release. All right, let's go to our calves and let's squeeze them tight. If you're sitting down, lift your feet off the floor and put your weight on your heels and hold those calves tight. Keep holding them. Notice again the tension filling up your body. Notice that when you release it, some of that tension departs and you feel much better. You feel relief. All right, next one, we're going to scrunch up our thighs yeah, our thighs. I'm not an anatomy major, so tighten your thighs, your leg area, your upper leg area, hamstrings, and keep holding it. Hold it tight and notice the sensations that you're feeling in your body and let it go. All right, we're going to go to our stomach. I want you to tense your stomach as tight as you possibly can. Feel that abdomen crunch and squeeze. Keep holding, and again, notice the firmness, the sensation, the pain that you can feel. And you let go. And part of what we're doing is when we're letting go, we're thinking about some of that stress that we're holding, leaving our body, going away from us. All right, let's try with our chest. Squeeze your chest, hold it, tense it, and let go. All right, let's do our hands. Hold them tight into fists. Squeeze them. Notice what's happening in your body, in your tightness, and let it go. All right, same thing with our biceps. Squeeze our biceps. Hold them tight. Let go. All right, last. All right, we're going to try our back. So maybe tilt your shoulder blades back. Hold your back firm and tight. And let it go. All right, last one. A lot of us feel intense tightness in our necks because that's a lot of times where our body holds the stress and trauma. So squeeze your neck as hard as you can. Feel the some of the stress and the pain up there. And let it go. And let's take one huge deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. All right, we're going to move on to something called the five senses grounding exercise. So this could be something that you could use especially. Maybe you're having some test anxiety in a classroom. Maybe you are alone in your room and you're overthinking, you're having racing thoughts, and you kind of just want to come back down to a calm place. So I want you to close your eyes, and I will do it too, even though it probably will look weird on a video, but I always do it with my clients in the room. So I'll close them here. And I want you just to take note of your environment. So we're going to go through five senses. The first one is, well, we can't close our eyes and see, but the first one we're going to do is see. So just look around. Take a look around your environment. Do you see any pictures that remind you of nostalgia? Do you see I have an essential oil diffuser, so I see some of the little droplets coming up. I see a calendar reminding me of all the to-dos I have, which may cause stress, but we just want to see what's going on. All right, next, let's hear. Do you hear anything going on? Are there any sounds? I have a light fan going on behind me that I can just hear. And it's just something I want to pay attention to and notice. There's also a sound machine going on out in the hallway that has some soothing waves that are going up and down. But is there anything you can hear or notice? Next is what can you feel? So my hands right now are feeling my nice, comfortable, soft chair, and they are noticing all the cool fabric and the smoothness. And again, I'm just trying to get accustomed to my environment and keep some of that noise that's going on in my head down a little bit. All right, I always find this one to be a little weird and odd, but taste, I mean, taste is in a very important sense. So maybe you can just move your tongue around your mouth and just notice it feeling against the back of your teeth. Or maybe you can still taste some of that pepperoni sandwich you had for lunch. Jokes, terrible joke. And lastly, our strongest sense is the olfactory sense. So what do you smell? So just breathe in deeply. Do you smell anything? I smell some great essential oils going on in my room. I can smell some of the lavender and lilac, and it really is very calming and peaceful. So, we're going to go through one more technique, and it's basically a form of mindfulness. So, it's kind of implementing some of the progressive muscle relaxation techniques, but also the mind body. So, I want you to take your right fist. I want you to squeeze it as tightly as you possibly can. All right, through the whole exercise, just hold it tight. I want you to squeeze it. All right, as you're squeezing it, I do want you to sort of take a body scan of what's going on in your body. Like right now, my back feels a little bit tense. Maybe I'm holding some stressors or some anxieties there from things that have happened today or maybe 22 years ago. But just kind of sense through your body. Is there any pain? Is there any feelings of heaviness? Is there any feelings of tension? And as you're squeezing, again, I want you to visualize some of that stress, some of that fear, some of that doubt in yourself, some of that anxiety is starting to move towards your fist. So again, this takes a visual person sometimes, but sometimes these things in our body have a shape or a color. So I want you to sort of sense your stress moving towards your fist. All right, hopefully it'll keep moving there. But again, now I want you to focus a little bit on your hand and your fist. I want you to sense and notice and feel your palms, how tight it is. I want you to look at your knuckles and notice that they've changed shapes and they are holding and working hard as you're doing this. I want you to notice your palm and that there may be some indents of your fingers as you continue to hold tightly here. All right, what we're gonna do is hopefully you're still sensing and seeing some of that stress, that darkness, that heaviness moving towards your fist. I'm gonna count down from 5, and when we hit 1, we're gonna let it go as a representation of letting go of some of that stuff that we can't control and some of that stuff that we can control. So 5, 4, 3, 2, let it out. Just kind of feel and watch it as it departs away from you. So those are 5 pretty simple things that you could do. Now, again, I don't believe that these are going to change your world and that you are going to be like healed of anxiety forever. But again, this section was called Deal with It, and we're trying to deal with it. What we do when we have stress and anxiety is we're up here and our baseline is down here. Using some of these techniques, we're just trying to get down here because when we're in a rational mind, we can make better choices and start to go into the next section, which we'll get to in just a second. All right, there's 2 other things I want to share in this part of the presentation under Deal with It. And one is coping skills, and I'm going to share this on my screen with you so you can all see this list of coping skills. So the reality is that we all cope in certain ways. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. Now, this is definitely not a comprehensive list. There's a million things that people do to cope, but these are just some great ideas for you all to use. And again, I'll kind of scroll up and down if you want to take a screenshot or even pause the video to check these out. I will highlight a few of them in that physical exercise or exercise and physical activity gives you a quadruple whammy. It helps you physically, emotionally, mentally, and physiologically. There's not much better you can do than to get some exercise. And it doesn't mean you have to go spend 15 hours a week in the gym. It could be just going for more regular walks than you do, getting outside, eating healthy food. So I went late last night and ate at Chili's with my family, and I still feel it today. I mean, it was lots of grease and I mean, it tasted great, don't get me wrong, but you can sense, most people can sense when they eat a good diet versus food that will stay with them for a while. All right, calling a friend or family member is critical. Having a couple people in your life that you can trust with your anxiety and worry is going to go a long way, and you sort of letting it out. I picture our anxiety as like an emotional balloon inside of our chest. Whenever, I mean, bad things and tough things will happen, and whenever it happens, your emotional balloon starts to blow up. If you don't do some of these positive coping skills, your balloon's going to get this big, and then it's going to pop And that's where some of the panic and that's where some of the meltdowns happen. So what we do when we talk to a friend is we take that balloon by the nozzle and we slowly let it out so it decreases in a nice healthy way. All right, a couple other things I'll just highlight here is writing in a journal, very similar to talking out. If you don't have that person in your life who you can talk to, write it down in a journal. A lot of people use this for sleep. Getting it outside of your head can decrease that overwhelming feeling that you have and can also help you rationalize through it. Maybe this isn't that big of a deal. Drawing or painting, I don't know if you all know, but counseling services here on campus has an awesome room called the Creativity Center. And whenever you use your creativity, it's a great way to get out some of that stress and anxiety, and you can use it for free from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. It's an awesome place. All right, one of the quotes that I love from the past is the seeds of depression. I know we're talking about anxiety, but the seeds of depression cannot grow in a thankful heart. So what if you, at the end of the day or the start of every day, you just wrote down 3 things, 5 things that you're grateful for? And again, don't do it as just some checklist activity. Do it as like, wow, I can't believe I have transportation. There are lots of people in the world that don't have transportation. I can't believe I'm in school. A lot of people can't afford to go to school or don't have the grades or weren't gifted with the intelligence to go to school. Some of these things can help keep that anxiety down and give you perspective. All right, a couple other things real quick is using relaxation or meditation that we just talked about. Other people use like spirituality, and there's a reason why this is included is because people with a form of spirituality, it doesn't mean a religion, but anything that they deem spiritual, a discipline, usually offers higher levels of life satisfaction. All right, do random acts of kindness, otherwise known as baking someone else cookies. Have you ever, especially Christmas time, have you ever been stressed out of your mind, but you're like, you know what? My roommate down the hall really could use something nice to happen for them because they have a lot going on too. And so you bake them some cookies and you deliver them. Think about the warmth and the positivity you feel getting to bless someone else's life like that. I know most students love music and most of the time all types, which is awesome. Listening to music can be a huge just stress relief, can take your mind off it. I've mentioned aromatherapy a couple times, but my favorite last part about coping is go to a green space. So there are studies out there that say if you are in nature or if you find a green environment like with plants or trees for over 30 minutes at a time, your symptoms of anxiety will decrease. Even if that's going to like a nursery in town or the Walmart's plant section can be really relaxing. Now, on this other end of this, of course, there are unhealthy coping mechanisms such as using substances to compensate for your negative feelings. Sleeping is obviously a good thing for your body, but it can be overdone, and many times people avoid their stress and anxiety by sleeping through things, which the only problem with that is that when you wake up, usually the problem is still there. So some of those things can be done, but just do it in moderation. All right, we are going to the last point of the deal with it. And again, I've talked about it a little bit in this section, but finding a social support to practice vulnerability. A lot of times I'll ask students who come in for counseling, like, do you share with others what's going on in your world? And most of the time they always say no. And I say, well, what if one of your friends was struggling with something and you could tell something was up with them? And would you want them to tell you? And they always say, yes, of course I would. And then I say, well, when the shoe is on the other foot, how come you cannot share with them? And so I would encourage you to please find that social support and be open and honest. Most people are good at the heart and they're not going to reject you or look at you differently. And a lot of times it can promote additional closeness. All right, that wraps up the section for deal with it. We're going to go to the problem solving section. So these are some really practical things that many of you already do and some of you are already really good at, but getting organized. So a question I love to ask people is life happening to you or are you happening to life? It's a big question. So if life is happening to you, one of the best things we can do is try to get organized, plan out our day, plan out our to-do list, figure out what activities are the most important, and prioritize those. Otherwise, we're just going to be kind of flying through the world like a leaf on the wind without a much feeling of control. And when we don't have feelings of control, we do tend to have higher anxiety. So get a plan, establish a routine, work on your time management. Again, you don't have to be, especially if you're someone who's very adaptive and flexible. I like to have spontaneity. You don't have to stick to your time management schedule 100%, but knowing, hey, I have these three things coming up, I need to get them done. I can spend a couple of minutes right now, and then I can do them later after I reward myself. I like to use movies sometimes in these presentations. So the next point is don't sweat the small stuff. So Frozen. I mean, my kids love Frozen. Frozen is a quality movie. I love it. And of course, one of the biggest hit songs from the movie was Let It Go. So when I think about all that I have going on, is I can ask myself some questions like, is this that big of a deal? Is this something I can let go? Or is this something I need to confront? So maybe I have some family stuff going on, and my mother keeps harassing me and nagging me about schoolwork and stuff. And that actually just makes it worse because it demotivates me and depresses me. So sometimes I might want to let that go, but sometimes I might need to confront that, which can take some courage and some wise words and approaches how to handle it. So I know a lot of people don't like confrontation, and I'm one of them, but sometimes we need to confront things and get them out in the open. I do think two reasonable people can usually come up with a plan to hear each other out and make a plan of attack to make the situation better. All right, set out and live your priorities. So what I would want you to do is I would want you to write on a piece of paper in front of you a pie chart. Okay. I want you to think of your main tasks that you have going on in your world right now. Maybe it's school, maybe it's work, maybe it's social life, maybe it's family. So whatever your big things are, it could look a lot different than that, or it could be exactly that. And I want you to think about what percent do I want to devote to each of these things, and draw yourself the little lines in for your pie chart. And then I want you to live it out. And so take an evaluation of yourself over some time, maybe give it a week and say, okay, I put 35% on school, but actually I'm staying up and hanging out with people a lot longer, which is a good thing, but it's taking away from school. So maybe I need to reprioritize and make some different choices and set some boundaries. So kind of see if you're living out your priorities. All right, establish goals. Long-term goals motivate short-term successes. So what I mean by this is, let's say you are a nursing major and you've known since you were 5 that you wanted to be a nurse because that would give you fulfillment, satisfaction, good pay, whatever. Um, Whenever you take these classes that you're like, oh my gosh, why do I have to take a history class when I'm going to be a nurse? Well, if we can look long term down the road, okay, this is why I'm doing all this. I do have to jump through some hoops, even if I don't like them, but I'm going to be a nurse. And by golly, I'm going to jump through these hoops, and it may motivate you to get through some of those things that you don't like. And so, again, the quote that I think I just made it up in the moment, I love it though. Long term goals motivate short term successes. All right, prepare for the task at hand. So a lot of people have anxiety over a speech or public speaking or having a conversation with someone if we have some social anxiety. Are you prepared for it? Did you spend the due time and due diligence to prepare for that speech? Do you have 25 things that you could say to start a conversation like, hey, what's your major? Or hey, I noticed you're wearing some cool shoes. Tell me about them. Or something as simple as, what do you think about the weather? What's going on in this world? So being prepared will help reduce some anxiety. And then finally, for this section, problem solve through it, is seek wise and trusted counsel. So again, sometimes you will have some of these answers. You'll be able to set these short-term goals, and sometimes you'll need those trusted sources of support in your life to help you figure it out. So please, again, be honest with yourself and recognize not everyone has it together. One of the things I love to think about people, and it's true of myself too, is that everyone is desperately insecure about something. So if I'm going to be vulnerable and bring something up, that's okay because other people have had to walk through that road before and make some of those same choices and figure life out too. So seek wise and trusted counsel. So an example of this might be you are struggling with one of your classes. Is it okay to go talk to that professor one-on-one in an office hour setting where they can actually give you some help, maybe some feedback? I know that can be scary for a lot of people, but would you rather risk the professor's reaction and get an F, or would you rather just fail and not care anymore more? I probably messed that up, but I think you get my point. All right, last point or last approach to dealing with anxiety is eradicate it. Okay, so that's a strong word. Eradicate it. like I'm going to demolish anxiety from the face of the earth. I don't know that that's 100% possible, but the reason why I'm saying it is because when I was sitting in your shoes, probably from the age of like 13 to like 26, I was the biggest anxious, most hard on myself person that you could ever imagine. I would be hard for me to talk to new people. I would never raise my hand in class. If you told me I had to go give a public speech in front of a couple hundred people at orientation, I would probably melt down and have a panic attack. So I get it. Anxiety is real. It's debilitating. It's challenging. It can show up in many different contexts. But what I have found is that you, by knowing thyself, and being cool with yourself, not being so hard on yourself, recognizing that there are other people that struggle as well. You can greatly reduce it and start changing the way that you view about yourself, which will change the way you feel about yourself, which is the way which will change the way you behave. Okay, so I'm going to go into that a little bit deeper, but I'm going to start with this quote from this really decent counselor at ASU Counseling Services. He's been in this business for 12 years, so maybe you can put the piece together. The cooler you are with yourself, the less stress, depression, and anxiety symptoms you will experience. So you may agree, you may disagree. But again, what I've learned through experience and working with thousands of students over that time is that the less I beat myself up, the more content I am and the less anxiety I experience because I'm recognizing that I'm flawed, but I'm also outstanding. I am scared, but I'm also courageous. And putting that forward in every situation can help you drastically. All right, one of my favorite movies to cry on is The Lion King, right? So there's that time where Simba runs away after he thinks he kills his father, and then the crazy monkey not Mufasa, Rafiki, he is showing him where his father's ghost is or whatever, and he looks down and the father says from the clouds, "Remember who you are." Remember who you are. And I always tear up every time because it's so amazing to remember that you do have strengths. You have accomplished a lot, even if you don't feel like you have. Just sitting here today, listening to this video means that you made it to college. You are probably doing okay in college. Hopefully, you're doing really well. But you've had to pass a ton of tests. You had to meet a ton of people. You had to have people approve your applications. So you have accomplishments. But we often don't think about them. We're so prone as humans to think about all the ways that we messed up, all the ways that we're not enough, all the ways that we're not like John Doe. But remember who you are. You are worthy, you are worthwhile, and there's always hope. All right, so I'm going to teach you really quickly. This is not, I'm going to do it a great disservice, but the key to contentment. Okay, so most anxiety does not exist in a vacuum. It just doesn't like all of a sudden pop up and you're like, "Oh, I'm so anxious." Most anxiety stems from thoughts. Okay, so it's going back to remember who you are. All right, I want you to picture yourself walking around campus, and inside your mind, you're thinking, I'm a good person. I look good today. I like what I'm wearing. Maybe my hair is a little frizzed out, but I think it looks cool. I could probably talk about 100 different things with 100 different people. My grades this semester were pretty good. I worked really hard and I got a 3.3. If you were to think like that about yourself as you went about your day-to-day life, and you would be able to believe it, I would guarantee you would have some less anxiety. Because what we think creates a feeling. Okay, so you're gonna have 100, 1,000 thoughts pop into your head at any given moment. Most of the time, we're unaware of what's going on and that that's happening. And so, if they are those negative thoughts, those self-deprecating thoughts, those thoughts that were like not good enough, I'm never gonna be as good as Johnny Boy. We are going to feel anxious, scared, sad, depressed. When we feel anxious, scared, sad, or depressed, we're going to act that out by isolating ourselves, by being suicidal, by running away from our friends, by having a panic attack, by having a depressive attack. So it doesn't matter that you have the thoughts. The thoughts themselves are not bad. So if I was sitting here saying, man, I'm terrible, these people are going to think that this is the worst video in the world. I don't even know what I'm talking about. They're probably going to sense that I'm shaky on the inside. My anxiety, I'm going to start feeling anxious. And when I feel anxious, I'm going to either start talking really fast or I'm going to close down this video as fast as I possibly can. But thankfully, I don't have those anymore. So it doesn't matter that you have the thoughts, it matters what you do with them. So what can you do with if you recognize you're having those negative, defeating self, um, defeating thoughts? You can recognize feelings, or thoughts are not facts and feelings are not facts. And you can change your thoughts. So I can go back to, wait, I prepared for this presentation. I just gave this presentation a couple weeks ago. I've been counseling people for over a decade. I kind of know a few things about counseling and mental health and psychology. So if I started having those thoughts instead, my feelings would start to change and I would feel a little bit more calm, a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more confident. When someone feels calm, peaceful, and confident, they tend to project that and do well in their speech and do well in their words and make friends, do better on tests because their memory is working. All right, so the last component first was the thoughts that lead to feelings that lead to behaviors. So you will act out your feelings and usually in unhealthy ways. So again, if I feel anxious or depressed, I'm going to run away. I'm going to close down. I'm going to maybe engage in one of those things we talked about earlier, like I'm going to sleep through it. Some people engage in self-harm. Some people will take substances. We don't want that to happen. Okay. So again, let's start with remember we are, and we're going to walk through a couple of really quick examples. So I'm going to picture myself on a Saturday night on ASU's campus. I'm an 18-year-old college student. It's my first semester. But unfortunately, I'm not hanging out with anyone tonight. No one invited me to go anywhere. So what do I do? I get on my phone and I look at social media because that's what we do, right? And I start scrolling through all these posts from my friends. Some of them went to Texas A&M, some of them went to UT, some of them went to Texas Tech. Man, they're all having a great time. They are all like out partying with people all around them. And I start to have some thoughts. Naturally, you're going to have some thoughts too. Some of those thoughts that are going to pop into my head are, man, what's wrong with me? How come no one likes me? Maybe I should have picked a different school. Maybe I wish I was smart enough to get into a different school. How come everyone else is having so much fun and not me? If you had those thoughts like I do at this moment, I'm going to feel stressed, anxious, sad, hurt. When I feel stressed, anxious, sad, hurt, what am I going to do behaviorally? I'm probably going to go to sleep. I might go vape. I might go try to find a party. I don't know. I might do something worse. So let's stop and say, okay, are all those pictures on social media 100% true? Does that mean that they're happy and I'm not? So what if I changed some of my thoughts to, wait, last night it was Friday night and I was just hanging out with like 4 people and we had a heck of a time. I know that everything on social media is not always as it appears and people always put their best foot forward. This tonight, actually, I was chose to study because I have 3 tests on Monday and Tuesday, and that was a really important priority for me. So why am I judging and comparing myself to everyone else when we're not the same? And so again, if I let those thoughts take root, they will lead to different feelings. And if I can accept those thoughts as true, my feelings should change, and I'll be at least a little bit more calm, a little bit more comfortable, and a little bit more okay with what I am and who I am and what I'm doing. And then when I'm more calm and comfortable, what behaviors are going to come out of me? I am going to say, okay, that's cool. Maybe I'm just going to go to sleep, or maybe I can actually work on my paper for another hour. I'm not going to let it bother me. All right, so do you see how those things all interact? Thoughts, feelings, behaviors. All right, well, I will do one more example, and then I'll do this weird thing with my finger. All right. All right. So let's look at test anxiety. So a lot of people struggle with test anxiety. So I prepared really hard for this test. And now I'm sitting in my class with the professor glaring at me, not really, but looking at me. And I'm starting to feel like my chest tighten up. I'm starting to feel my heart race faster. I'm starting to feel frazzled, and my memory is just not working. So again, that just didn't happen out of the blue. That happened because I was thinking about the test. And so some of the thoughts that might come to a person in this situation are, oh my gosh, you're going to fail this test. Oh my gosh, you don't know what you studied. You don't even know what you're doing. How are you going to get through all these tests in this amount of time? What's wrong with you? Are you sure you're good enough to be in college? And what happens if I fail this test? I'll fail the class. What happens if I fail the class? I'm gonna drop out of college and everyone back home, including my parents, are gonna think I'm an idiot. That is really hard to come back from. Do you see how easily those thoughts can snowball? And a lot of times we do that. So in this situation, I mean, if you're already down that rabbit hole that far in your thoughts, I might incorporate that thing that we did earlier, the fist thing, and try to walk myself through the fist thing, or at least just take some deep breaths. Because again, I am over excited up to here, and now I need to get back to a baseline so I can finish this test and do well. So I might implement a mindfulness technique first, but I'm also going to be like, wait, I'm doing it. I'm letting the negative thoughts and the irrational thoughts win. I actually studied for about 16 hours for this test. I do know some of the materials, and I've been smart enough in this class. I got an 82 right now. That's pretty solid. So if I can start to think differently about the test, I'm going to get done as much as I can, and that's going to be good. I'm going to remember some of this stuff as I keep going along. That's going to reduce that initial height of anxiety to a little bit more calmness and a little bit more productivity, which is going to equate to behaviorally. My memory is going to start working again. I'm going to be less freaked out, and I'm going to take my time and get it done. So the last thing I'm going to say is, like I said earlier, most people, we naturally think about all of our weaknesses, all about our areas that don't measure up. And we've been doing so for so long that these automatic thoughts just start cycling and cycling. We don't even have to think, they're just there. And so if we never do anything to stop this cycle, we're often going to be anxious and stressed. So what we're asking you to do in this situation is to stop twirling, but not only that, we're going to have to start going the other way and remember who we are. Remember that we have intelligence. Remember that we're a good person. Remember that we have a goal and we're going to go places. So it is challenging. It's hard. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I hope some of these tools will help you to either deal with your anxiety, problem solve your anxiety, and hopefully eradicate your anxiety. It does take time, it does take energy. If you tried some of these things on your own and you're not feeling good about it, you can always come to the counseling center. We would love to talk with you more about anxiety, depression, stress, suicidal thoughts, anything that you're going through. Um, yeah, so hopefully you took something away from this, and I thank you for listening. Have a wonderful semester.